All right, well, today's July 21st, 2016, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, and I'm going to grade some of the integrated and independent speaking practice tests from my students in my online TOEFL course. So, if you're thinking about joining my course, you might want to watch this video because this will give you an idea of the kind of feedback that I like to give my students. And ask yourself, do you believe that this will help you improve your speaking? I think so, but you can make that decision for yourself. Okay, let me go ahead with the first one. I'll just use her initials, SSA. This student completed an integrated speaking practice test number 6. Okay, let's see. Hi there, these comments are for SSA, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to listen to your integrated speaking practice test number 6.
According to the reading passage, the reading and the listening passages are talking about the risks of nuclear energy.
Okay.
According to the reading passage, there is a risk of proliferation of the nuclear weapons because of the shortcoming in the regulations of the Atomic Energy Agency.
Good. You're getting right to the most important point in the reading. I like that. You're not trying to talk about everything.
According to the listening passage, the speakers shows another...
Let's go back again.
According to the reading passage, there is a risk of proliferation of the nuclear weapons because of the shortcoming in the regulations of the Atomic Energy Agency.
No, I would explain that a little bit more. You need some elaboration. Remember, you're only 16 seconds into your response, so you can say, according to the reading passage, this agency has difficulty monitoring what countries are doing with the enriched uranium that they have. Are they using it, for example, for weapons, or are they using it to see, or using it for nuclear energy? That is the key. So you needed to explain that just a little bit more.
According to the listening passage, the speakers shows another risk, which is the risk of accident. He gives the example of...
Not really chooses another risk, but the speaker discusses another risk of nuclear energy, the risk of accidents.
Explosion that happened in 1986, and that explosion led to death, killing a lot of people, and others was killed because of the cancers that happened because of the radiation, and it costs the previous Soviet Union 3 times more than the economic benefits that come from operation of other nuclear power agency from 1954 to 1990.
Okay, so overall, let's take a look at the rubrics now. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me go ahead and click on the link for integrated speaking. So I think the main thing, as I pointed out earlier, you probably could have elaborated more on the reading passage. That's probably one of the things that you can do, at least in terms of topic development. I think too, you probably spent a little too much time explaining the listening passage, so try to balance out your discussion a little bit more on the next one. So some minor topic development issues. Overall, I think you have pretty good control of your grammar and your vocabulary. Delivery, you have a non-native speaker accent, I think, so on this one, if you want to work on something, maybe you can probably work on intonation. That's always a thing that most students can improve, and I think you can improve in that area too. So if you want to go to my pronunciation lessons 36 through 40, you can get some more instruction in that area. Your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.83 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this practice test. And those are my comments to SSA. So most of these students, as you can imagine if you're watching this video, right, so what is he doing? What am I doing is, most of these students that you're hearing, they all need to get 26 points or higher. So how do they do that? They practice. They practice in many cases every day. They send me speaking every day, I give them comments every day, and little by little, they solve their issues. They solve their problems. Like this student had a topic development issue, and needs to improve in that area. And once a student solves those problems, then she's going to get that score of 26. And it happens every month. I get at least 10 or 12 students every month who reach their goal of getting 26. Okay, let me go ahead and save this response. We'll go to the next one. Okay, let's see who we have next. Okay, here we go. Let's say KMP initials. So this is integrated speaking practice test number 17. I have over 300 topics on my website, and some of these students, in a couple of months' time, they'll do at least 60 of these things. No kidding. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for KMP, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. You completed integrated speaking practice test number 17.
The speaker in the lecture describes two fundamental terms used in economics which describe
two. You need to pronounce that vowel a little bit longer. Two. But then there's a word in there I got to double check.
Describes two fundamental terms used in economics which describes
phenomenal. Two phenomenal terms.
Changes of the prices of the goods and services. First, the inflation, which is defined as consistent increase of the price of goods and services, which...
You see the word price, pronounce that P with more air, so price.
Decreases the value of currency, and hence it decreases...
And not currency, but currency. The value of currency.
The power of...
Again, power, you need to pronounce that with more air.
On the other hand, deflation is defined as consistent decrease of the price of goods and services that leads to increase of value of each unit of currency, and hence it increases the power of buying and purchasing. That's how the two fundamental terms, inflation and deflation,
are you saying fundamental terms or phenomenal terms? So I'm not sure. So that one word at the beginning and near the end of your response, I can't quite understand what you're saying. So maybe you want to write that term, if you can, when you do your next response, write down what you're saying. So are you saying phenomenal or are you saying fundamental?
Defined and describes how the changes of the prices of goods and...
Okay, so I think overall you have a pretty good understanding of the ideas. So topic development is is pretty good. My one suggestion is just make sure that maybe 4 or 5 times during your response you tell us that the speaker is saying this information, so that you remind us that you are summarizing someone else's idea. So that's one thing you can do there. Language use and delivery. There were some problems with delivery. It's that one word I was having the most trouble with. I don't know if it's a language use issue or is that a delivery issue, which means pronunciation. So because of some delivery issues, I'm going to put you at about 2.6 out of 4, 20 points out of 30 on this practice test. So that's the issue with a lot of my students. They have a really strong accent. They must overcome that non-native speaker accent that's interfering in their ideas. It's not easy. And it's not just memorizing a template. These students have to speak a lot of English, watch a lot of TV. They have to be really, really familiar with the spoken language, right? And that helps them. Because most students, this is my experience, once they solve their delivery issues, which means pronunciation, their score skyrockets. It goes up very, very fast. Okay. Got that one done. I'm going to go send this email over to my TA. He scores all the independent and integrated writing practice tests, and he sends them a message and scores it. Then I'll read it again just to make sure his score is accurate. If it's not, I'll send him over a message and say, hey, you're too high or too low. But my TA is actually very accurate, does a really good job on that. So I just got an email from someone who completed integrated writing practice test 32, so I'm going to go ahead and send this over to my TA to score. And again, a lot of my students, they're doing writing practice every day, my goodness. Wow, how boring is that? They'll do a writing practice test every day, send me an email, I get it scored for them. But you know what? Even though it's boring, they really improve their writing. I have one of my students, you're not going to believe this one, about, I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago, when I met him, his score was 21 on the writing section, and guess what? Over a period of about 2.5 months, he completed almost 40 writing practice tests on my website. I have 40 independent and 43 integrated writing practice tests right now, right? So he did 40 of them. His score went from 21 to 29 on his next TOEFL exam. It's crazy. Really, really good improvement there. Okay, let's go back to my talk group. And let's see what I have to do next. Okay, we have, this is another, it's an independent speaking practice test. Let's see what we have. Hi there, these comments are for Megdil Maida, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. Hope you're having a good day today. I am. I'm having fun listening to you guys and hearing your comments. So the independent practice test is, how have mobile phones changed our lives in relation to some years ago?
Mobile phones change our lives in comparison with the perspectives from some years ago, as you can communicate with people at any time, everywhere. Taking my life as an example, even though I left my country many years ago, I can still catch up with the family and friends, and that
participate actively from their lives. Also, mobile phones allow us to have a flexibility to talk to people everywhere. We don't need it to be anymore. Instead,
I like how you're using that we or that I point of view. That's the appropriate point of view here, so you're careful not to shift into the you point of view. So I think we're making progress.
At determined place, but instead we can keep circulating and practice other activities while holding a cell phone.
Okay, so overall, let's go to the rubrics here for just a quick second. So go to independent speaking. Interesting. I think if you want to make things connect a little bit, you want to make things a little bit better connected, you can be a little more specific in the beginning in your topic statements. You can say, in relation to years ago, cell phones have changed our lives because it's made it easier to communicate with our friends and family, and we can use these devices for educational purposes, right? So you state those two ideas, and of course you'll say, first of all, cell phones have changed our lives because it makes it easier for us to communicate with our friends and family. Then you give some examples there, and then say, second of all, cell phones have also changed our lives because it makes it better, or it's better educationally. We can improve our education using the phones. Then you illustrate that, and then you're done. So you can probably connect things together a little bit better. That's a topic development issue. Also, with pronunciation, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what your problem is, but I think one area that you can work on, it's your pausing and phrasing. So sometimes you have the tendency to take maybe too many pauses as you're speaking. So I think I already gave you this suggestion, but keep focused on thought groups and blending, pronunciation lessons 41 through 44, and try to get to where you pause after 4 or 5 stressed words. And then you have another 4 or 5 stressed words, another pause, and so on. And that will sound a little bit more natural. And you can also work on generally improving your vowel and consonant sound quality, especially your vowel sounds. If you want to work a lot on vowels right now, that would probably be a pretty good idea. All right, so according to the rubrics here, I can never score anything without looking at the rubrics. So I'm looking at them right now. I'll put the link into the discussion thread so you can click on it too if you want. I think some minor topic development issues, some delivery issues. I'm going to put you at 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this practice test. This is the hardest part of my job. And luckily I have a very small business. I don't have like thousands of students or anything like that. At the most, I don't have more than about 200 in a month. So I keep things kind of small. The hard part is training ESL instructors to evaluate student speaking. It's not hard because it's not easy. I mean, the instructor has to be able to understand what kinds of problems a student's having with pronunciation, first of all. That's hard. But then the person also has to understand what kinds of vocabulary and language use issues are that the student has, and then finally the topic development issues, and to be able to communicate these things. You know, like before, I just told the student that she can improve her pronunciation as it relates to thought groups and blending, and also gave her some examples on how she can improve her organization. It's not easy to do that. And I do this without writing anything down. I simply base it on my first impression. And another thing I always do is I listen and comment on a student's practice test the very first time I hear it. That's it. So I want to give students my first impression of what I think about it. And usually my first impression is the best evaluation, by the way. Okay, who do we have? We got Dieta 79, so she did independent speaking practice test number 113. Let's see. You notice my voice will kind of change when I'm talking to her here, so let's see. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Dieta 79. Good morning to you. And I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 113. So the question is, how has the internet changed our lives in relation to years ago? Use reasons and examples to support your response. All right, so let's hear what you say.
In my opinion, the internet has helped us to save a lot of time and money in relation to years ago. First of all, the internet has helped us to save a lot of time. For example, when I was in university and before inventing the internet, I had to submit a biology report every week. Therefore, I used to go to the library to search many books. That was time consuming because it used to take me hours in order to reach a piece of information. However, nowadays, I can reach any piece of information using the internet in just a few minutes. Moreover, the internet has helped us to save a lot of money. For instance, I used to spend hundreds of dollars on books. Nowadays, I have an access to all of those books for free using the internet.
Yes. Wow, I didn't have to stop it very much at all. So you continue to give very specific details to support your generalizations, and you cannot have a better strategy than that. And what it means is very good strategy. So the only thing is, in the beginning, you talked about how it saves time, but I don't believe that you said money. So whatever you do in the body of your response, you want to try to make sure you mention that in the beginning. Let me listen to the beginning one more time.
In my opinion, the internet has helped us to save a lot of time and money in relation to years ago.
No, you did say it. I am wrong. My ears are not good. Okay, so you have a good topic development, a good topic statement in the beginning, then you restate those points in the body of your response. You give examples. You really super illustrated the first point of time, very specific detail, extended over 15 seconds or more. That was good. You kind of ran out of time at the end, but you gave the example how you don't have to buy all these books anymore because you could get them on for free at the internet. So I think topic development was very good. Also, you had good control of your vocabulary and your grammar. I didn't notice any major problems in there. Delivery, you have a non-native speaker accent. However, I can understand everything that you're saying, and there wasn't much listener effort needed. Notice, I didn't have to stop and go back to listen to anything. Once I stop, and I have to go back to listen to what you've said, your score's going down. I was pretty much able to go through the whole response without having to do any pauses at all. That is a good sign for you. I like this one. Very strong speaking. I'm going to put you, I think it's very possible you could get a 4. I'll put you minimum 26 points or higher on this practice test. Crap. If you can do this, this is what you want to do during the TOEFL exam. Exactly like this. This is it. No more, no less. If you can do this at least 4 times, do this 4 times on the TOEFL exam. That means you get a 4 times on the test, and then 2 times you get a score of 3. Guess what? Your score is 26 points or higher. You can do this. I know you can do it. I have faith. Keep working hard. When you take the TOEFL, very good luck to you. I have a very good feeling. All right? Yeah, I think this is the last month for this student. She's been working for about, 2 months, 3 months, but her speaking is right there. It's right at the level that she needs. So I'm very hopeful that she can reach her goal this month and get 26 or higher. That's what we want. That's what makes me happy. Think about it. I go to sleep every night. A few times during the month, I get an email. It'll say, hey, Michael, I got 26 on speaking. I'm like, yes! That is what it's all about right there. It isn't about the money, nothing like that. It's about hearing success stories from my students. It's as simple as that. Okay, let's go to the next one. I think I have a few more here. Let's see. Still got one more here. So independent speaking practice test number 49. So Shembesh, this guy has got to do it. He only needs 24 and he got 23, but 4 different times. Man, talk about being frustrated. What would you do if you failed a test 4 straight times? Would you give up? Not this guy. This guy is so motivated, even if he fails it 10 times, he will still keep practicing until he gets his goal. I admire that. I admire that kind of tenacity. It's that perseverance. This is something that nobody tells you in the ESL program that you're studying and nothing like this, but you have to persevere. You have to remember that reaching a high level of English ability, it doesn't happen overnight, it doesn't happen without effort, and you will have failures along the way. You're never going to have total success every step of the way. You're going to get knocked down a few times, but what do you do when you get knocked down? Do you stay down or do you get up? If you get up and you keep practicing, you will succeed. That is it. Never give up. Remember this guy. Shembesh will never give up. All right, hi there. These comments are for Shembesh, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And here we go again, my friend. So you did independent speaking practice test number 49. So it says, where do you go to have fun? Describe the place and explain why it is a fun place to visit, right? That's kind of the question here. So in 45 seconds, here is what you said. Now, my goal is to not stop. If I can get through this whole thing without stopping, you will pass. All right, let's see what happens.
I usually go to a local zoo here in my town to have a wonderful time with my family. It's a big place full of variety of animals, cafes, restaurants, with small parks, and included a big amusement park. I prefer to go with my family and every weekend to this place to have fun because it's a nice family time for us, and also we can break the boredom. First of all, my kids love this place. They can go anytime they want. They can watch the elephants, the lions, also feeding them. Also, they go watch the penguins and kangaroos. It's also considered an educational experience for them. Moreover, my kids can have a wonderful time here. They can change their mood, break the boredom, and go to school after that fresh again.
Not bad. So I think overall I was able to get through the whole response. That's good news. So you talked about the amusement park, you described it somewhat, you talked about what they like to do. So I think that the topic development is pretty good. You answered the question. You had pretty good control of your language use. Not any vocabulary, no grammar trouble. I think it was pretty good. Delivery is where we're running into some issues, right? So I think maybe the word local, you maybe had some minor word stress issues in that one. So that's pretty much the only thing that might bring it down. So I'm going to put you at about 23 to 24 points out of 30, 3.0 to 3.1 out of 4. So if you did score lower than 24, it probably will be because of delivery issues. Right? So keep doing, keep spending time on my website as you do some pronunciation practice. Do what you're doing. You're reading some of the paragraphs out loud. You're trying to follow my rhythm, my tone, my pacing. You'll keep doing that a little bit each day. That's a good idea. And then bombard the brain with a lot of movies. Watch a lot of movies right now where you really get a lot of English in the brain, especially spoken English, right? And you should be able to reach that goal. See, this guy's tough. It comes down to delivery with him in many cases, but sometimes he'll make some language use issues or have language use problems. So usually he's pretty organized, but he might have some grammatical or vocabulary issues, or he might have some pronunciation issues. That is what I'm trying to do. So do you see kind of how this works? The students post their speaking responses every day, and then I give them feedback. I tell them what it is like, how I hear and understand their ideas. I even give them a score according to the rubric. But the most important thing is they have a native speaker providing them feedback, telling them what works, what doesn't work, and so on. Okay, what do we have next? Okay, all the speaking practice is done on my second Voxipop page. Now I can go to the first page. I always like to score the oldest speaking response first. For example, if one was submitted 24 hours ago, I'll grade that before the one that was submitted 12 hours ago. And remember, I teach students from all over the world, so our time frames are all messed up. Like I live in the United States, California, but some of my students live in China, Saudi Arabia, they live in South America, Europe. It's just everywhere. So my basic policy is I will listen to their practice test 24 hours after they complete it. I try to get it done within about a day. And then everybody's happy. They get their feedback, they can practice more, they know what's kind of going on here. Now what do we got here? This next guy's name is Richard. So he's actually doing my pronunciation pre-test, and my job is to figure out what problems he's having with his pronunciation. So let's see if we can figure that one out. So now I'm going to my website. I have to go to the exact web page that he went to, and I have to look at all the words that he's reading. I have to look at the questions that he's answering, and then I'm going to give him feedback in two areas. I'll give him feedback on specific vowel and consonant sounds that I think he's having some trouble with, but then at the same time I can give him some tips on his general intelligibility of American English. So here we go.
Lesson 7. Pot, boat, wrong, grow, honor, over, father, top. Lesson 8. Pet, pot, map, mop, tack, talk, and on, mac, muck. Lesson 9. Right, wrong, royal, lie, load, loyal, pie, pound. Lesson 10. Gate, get, late, let, mate, met, blade, bled, ding, den. Lesson 11. Med, meet, pita, pit.
Now this
lip,
is big trouble.
lip, sat, sit, hit.
I can't even understand the difference of these words he's
Lesson
reading.
12. Look, luck,
Luke. No
tool,
trouble.
top, cold, school. Lesson 13. Match, mash, chip, ship, feature, fisher, shaft, shaft, cheer, shear. Lesson 14. Off, have, find, vine, fan, van.
He needs to work on
Wafer.
that V, the initial V
Waver.
consonant sound.
Lesson 15. How, habit, who, rehash, behavior, hate, Batman, beaten, important, brighten,
Work on the glottal stop.
attract, treated. Lesson 16. Major, measure, fragile, Brazil, legend, lesson,
No, he's having
engine,
trouble with this
azure,
one.
large, Asia.
For sure.
Lesson 17. Cake, cake, sink, sag, cane, gain, cup, gap, lick, leg. Lesson 18. Lean, rare, better, lookish, rugged, up there, right, light, committed. Lesson 19. Place, base, flap, flav, cap, cav, lap, lab, pay, bay. Lesson 20. Lice, lies, zip, zip, sue, zoo, maze, maze, Elisa, Eliza. Lesson 21. Multiple, Robert, example, pressure, principle, number,
Okay, it's good.
people, philosopher. Lesson 22. Volcanism, written, maximum, question, summer, reason, chance, offer. Lesson 23. Tip, dip, car, card, tight, tide, train, drain, fat, fad, team, dream. Lesson 24. Tight, side,
Trouble.
breathe, breathe,
The TH.
teeth, teeth,
Thigh.
through, tough, worthly.
Okay, so now I communicate with him. I'll tell him what he needs to work on. So in every lesson that he just did, he just kind of read some sample words, but now he has to go to a specific video lesson. Each video lesson is about anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long, and it focuses on specific vowels or specific consonant sounds. So let me talk to him, tell him what he needs to do now. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Ricardo, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Thank you for completing the pronunciation pretest. I have a pretty good idea what you need to do now. So you have now given me information, and with that information, I can now teach. I can give you some instruction. So here are the lessons that I think are most important for you right now. I would write these down if I were you, so you can remember. Lesson number 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14. Lesson 15, focus on the glottal stop. Lesson 16, lesson 19, believe it or not. No, 19, you understand the P and the B. I'm not saying that you don't, but here's the key. And this is true in many words, what I'm going to tell you right now. We have two kinds of consonants in the English language. We have voice consonants, which means there's vibration in the vocal folds when you say the sound. For example, the B, B, B. That's a voice consonant. Now, a voiceless consonant means there's no vibration here in the vocal folds, right? And the example is P. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this is this reason. When a voiceless consonant occurs at the end of the word, usually the vowel which precedes it is shorter. When a voice consonant occurs at the end of the word, the vowel which precedes it is longer. So then, If you go to lesson 19, you'll say flap, flab, cap, cab, lap, lab. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's what you're not doing. You're saying both words with the same duration, but it makes it hard for me to understand which word it is. So that's one thing you can work on. Lesson number 23, you can work on that one exactly the same reason. Notice, cart, card, fat, fad. Again, when the D's at the end, you need to make the vowel sound which precedes it longer, and it improves your intelligibility, and that's a good thing. And then lesson number 24. So those are the lessons you should focus on the most. Now, I recommend that you go through all of my pronunciation lessons. No doubt, I would do that. But focus on the ones I just outlined in this discussion thread. So let me say them one more time. Lesson number 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 19, 23, and lesson number 24. And that's it. All right, Ricardo, thank you for doing the pretest. Okay, now I'm going to send him a quick message and I go to the next one. The pretests are a little complicated and they take longer than a normal speaking practice test. For example, I had to listen to that for 4 minutes. So they take more time, but I think it's important. I want to give my students feedback with pronunciation because my experience shows when students solve the pronunciation and delivery issues on the TOEFL, many of them reach their 26 points that they need. So it is important for me to help these students solve those issues. Do you see me put on these glasses? Yeah, these are called computer glasses here. I actually got them at Amazon.com. It's called Gamma Ray. See that? Now, I'm not trying to sell anything for the company here, but before I use computer glasses, because I have a lot of exposure to blue light from my computer, and I'm working on my computer every day, 365 days of all year long, I get headaches, really severe headaches, and these glasses minimize the number of headaches I actually get, no joke. So after I've been working now since about from 7:30 to almost 8:30, so it's time for me to put these glasses on to minimize some of that blue light that's getting into my brain. Much, much better. Okay, I'm nearing the end of my grading today, so let's go to, another pretest. Man, this is brutal. This guy submitted it 11 hours ago, and I'm going to go ahead and give him feedback now. But you know what? If I wait too long on this and don't do it today, guess what? I'll have even more work tomorrow. So it's a good idea to get this done. You ever heard this saying? Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So if you can get it done today, do it. Don't delay it. Don't procrastinate. Get things done. Okay, here we go.
Hello, this is Jim Lopez doing the pre-test for vowel and consonant sounds. Hot, wrong, row, honor, over, father, no, at, hop, nap, hop, tack, talk, an, on, mag, mog, bright, brown, broil, lie, loud, loyal, high, hound, gate, get, late, let, made, met, blade, bled, dane, den,
Good.
meet, meet, heat, heat.
This is big trouble. Everybody has trouble with lesson number 11.
Sit, hit, hit.
This is a disaster here. You've got to work on this one.
Look, luck,
More trouble.
took, tune, toe, good, cool, much, much, sheep, sheep, future, future, shaved, shaft, shear, share,
Big trouble with the CHSH.
of, half, half, fine, vine, fun, bun, wafer, waver, how, habit, who, rehash, behavior, hate, Batman, parent, important, frightening, attract, threatened, major, measure, fragile, fracile, legend, nation, ancient, assure, large, Asia, cake, keg, sink, sag, gain, gain, cup, gap, lake, lag, ling, rear, better, luggage, rugged, other, right, light, committed, peas, base, flap, flap, cup, cub, lap, lap, bay, bay, lies, lies, zip, zip, zoo, zoo, maze, maze, Elisa, Elisa, multiply, Robert, example, pressure, principle, number, people,
This is good.
philosopher, volcanism, reading, maximum, question, summer, reason, cousin, often, tip, deep, card, card, tide, tide, train, drain, fad, fad, team, dream, tide, die, brave, briefed, thief, thief, fool, doe, wolf, worthy.
Okay, now this is a complicated part right here. What I'm going to do right now is not easy. Now I'm actually going to open up another web page and start my recording as I listen to his recording. So I'm going to comment on what he says as he says it. And think about this. On top of all this, I have another video capturing everything I'm doing here. So it's kind of crazy. Let's see if we can figure this one out. All right, hi there, John Lopez. I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. I'm in the middle of listening to your pretest. In fact, I just listened to part A. My comments are as follows. Here are the lessons I think you need to focus on the most. Lesson number 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14. Lesson 15, focus on the glottal stop. Lesson number 16. Lesson number 19. The one thing with 19 you have to be careful about, and the same is true with lesson 23, what I'm going to tell you right now, is we have two kinds of vowels. We actually have two kinds of consonants in the English language. We have voiced and voiceless consonants. A voiced consonant means that there's vibration in the vocal folds when you produce a sound. A voiceless consonant means there's no vibration. So compare the S and the Z. S, Z. So the S is a voiceless consonant, the Z is a voiced consonant. Now, going back to lesson 19. The B is a voiced consonant, which means the vowel which precedes it should be longer in its duration. The P is a voiceless consonant, which means it's the vowel which precedes it should be shorter in duration. So if I look at these pairs of words, I won't say them with exactly the same length. I'll say flap, flab, cap, cab, lap, lab. So the B at the end, you have to make that vowel longer before it, and it makes it easier to understand those ideas. The same thing applies with lesson 23. I think you can work on this too. Notice, tight, tide, fat, fad, cart, card. You notice that? So you can work, you know how to pronounce the P and the B, you know how to do the T and the D, but you just need to make those vowels either longer or shorter depending on what comes after those vowels. Also, lesson number 24, that's an interdental consonant. For example, the word thigh, thy, breath, breathe, and so on. So those are the lessons. So let me go over them one more time. Lesson number 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 19. Now wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong list here, sorry. Okay, got it. It's lesson number 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, lesson 23, and also lesson number 24. So I guess you can disregard some of those comments. So focus on those lessons I just outlined at the end of this discussion thread. All right, so let's continue on. The next step is I'm going to listen to your response to those 3 questions.
Part B. Answer the following questions. What is your educational background and your work history?
Okay.
I am a professor in history, in geography. I have a major, a bachelor in geography and history. And I also have a master's degree in history of Latin American countries.
Okay.
America, contemporary.
You say that word, Latin American countries. Countries.
Latin America. I have taught history and social studies in around 4 universities in my country.
Okay.
Venezuela for 7 years. And I'm planning to do a PhD.
Okay.
So what is it? Why it's
Which means you have to have a high TOEFL score.
important for you to improve your speaking and pronunciation abilities of American English? Because I want to do a PhD, and one of the requirements if I want to do a PhD abroad of my
One of the requirements, put MENT at the end.
country, like in the United States or in a country of Europe, usually the classes are in English, and they ask for a higher score in speaking and writing, and in English in general. So that's why it's important for me. What do you hope to
So what score do you actually need? Do you need to get over 100?
achieve in this course? Since I need to get a higher score in TOEFL, which I pretend to take by the end of August, I really need to improve in general, but I want to focus especially in this course online with you, Michael.
Okay.
I want to improve especially in the speaking field.
Okay, now here's the thing. Now, if you're serious about improving speaking, you need to send me more speaking practice tests. Now, I know it took you a while to figure out Voxipop, but now that you have, start sending independent and integrated speaking practice tests.
So that's why it's important to me to try to, study every day hard and try to improve every day in English as much as I can. Thank you. See you.
Okay. Okay, so I'm actually going to give you an intelligibility score right now. So what we want to look at here is pretty simple. So let me click on the rubrics for my intelligibility scale that I use. And remember, and I'm going to put the link in here for you too so you can take a look at it. So the question is, how easy or difficult is it for native speakers to understand what you're saying? The lowest score you can get on my intelligibility scale is 1.1. The highest you can get is 7.0. I'm going to put you in the middle, kind of. Intermediate, I'm going to put you at 3.8 out of 4. You do have some pronunciation problems, as I just outlined, and sometimes it makes it a little bit difficult to understand your idea. So that's why I put you where I did. All right, so now what? You should start reviewing these lessons. At the same time, you should start posting speaking practice tests. It's going to be very, very important for you. All right, John, anyway, nice to meet you, and good luck.